My name is Thomas Hale. I am a private investigator, the kind that wealthy families summon when the police have already given up and most people simply won't believe the answers. The Harringtons contacted me in late winter. Their son, Edward, 23, brilliant, troubled, an Oxford dropout obsessed with ancient alignments and forbidden texts, vanished 3 months earlier during a solitary trip to Wiltshire. His final communication, a single postcard mailed from Salisbury, a photograph of Stonehenge taken at first light, the Sarsens glowing pale against the frost, and on the reverse, in handwriting that grew unsteady toward the end, the stones are speaking. They know where we come from. I think I understand now. No further messages, no body, no trace. They paid for my flight to London in first class and asked no questions about expenses or methods. I took a small flat in Bloomsbury, high ceilings, peeling cornices, the kind of place where every creak of the floorboards feels like history judging you. The city smelled of rain-soaked stone, diesel, and something older, faint traces of chalk and brine carried on the wind from the southwest, as though Salisbury Plain itself exhaled through the streets. The yellow sign etched into my left palm, a souvenir from darker investigations years ago, had lain quiet for months. Now it burned, with steady insistence, the heat spreading up my forearm like roots seeking water. And at night, the whisper returned, soft and yellow as old parchment soaked in bile. The boy heard the call before you, Thomas. He went to widen the crack. You will follow. You always do. Hastur. I had long ago stopped answering. I began with the usual channels. Edward's former tutors, rare book dealers in Cecil Court, the loose network of occult enthusiasts who gathered in upstairs rooms above pubs near the British Museum. One phrase recurred like a refrain: the children of the stone. They left no digital footprint, no pamphlets, no public gatherings, only rumors of gray-robed figures seen on the plain after midnight, chanting in syllables that hurt the ear. They believed Stonehenge was not a monument, but a ruin, a broken gate, split in the deep past, leading downward to Ubo-Sathla, the unbegotten source, the blind protoplasmic mass from which all earthly life had once crawled, and toward which it would one day dissolve. I smiled thinly at first. Then I met Detective Inspector Eleanor Crow. She found me leaving a bookshop on a rainy afternoon. Short, dark hair plastered by drizzle, gray eyes steady behind rain-speckled glasses, a trench coat that had survived too many winters. You're Hale, the Harringtons' import from Boston. I don't believe in cosmic gates or elder gods, Mr. Hale. I believe in people who exploit delusion for their own ends. We formed an uneasy alliance over bitter coffee in a cramped cafe near Russell Square. She had files, surveillance logs, reports of unexplained lights moving beneath the stones at night. I had experience with things that refused to fit into official reports. We drove to the plain the next morning. The sky was low and leaden. Stonehenge stood like broken teeth against the horizon. We walked the perimeter in silence. My sign throbbed beneath my glove, the heat almost comforting now, like a second heartbeat. Between two fallen trilithons, we discovered fresh-turned earth, a narrow trench hastily covered. Inside lay a small stone tablet wrapped in gray cloth. The spiraling glyphs matched those that haunted my sleep. When I touched the surface, The sign flared so violently. Eleanor recoiled, hand instinctively going to her sidearm. 2 nights later, we returned under a near full moon. No tourists, only wind, and the faint, sweet rot of something enormous breathing beneath the soil. In the center of the circle, the earth had been ripped open, a pit 2 meters deep. Eleanor's torch beam swept downward. At the bottom lay what remained of Edward Harrington. Bones softened and pitted, as though marinated in slow organic acid. Flesh reduced to a quivering gray protoplasm, still pulsing faintly, attempting to remember human form. Scraps of an Oxford jacket clung to the mass, soaked in black, oily fluid. On one exposed bone of the hand, a faint yellow mark still glowed, a dying twin to the sign on my own palm. Eleanor crouched at the edge. "This isn't murder. It's surrender. He dissolved himself. Alive." The protoplasm stirred. A thin pseudopod rose, questing blindly toward my hand. The sign blazed. The tendril recoiled as though burned. Eleanor seized my sleeve. "We're leaving, now." In the car, she spoke first, voice low. "I'm in, Hale, all the way. We stop them before they widen that gate any further, whatever it costs." Weeks passed in London. We combed archives, shadowed suspected associates, sat through tense meetings in upstairs rooms thick with cigarette smoke and paranoia. Eleanor's skepticism eroded slowly but relentlessly. She began to notice things she could no longer dismiss, shadows that moved against the wind, the faint smell of salt marsh in rooms far from the sea, the way my sign glowed brighter whenever we spoke of the plane. One rainy evening, after a fruitless day in the British Museum's manuscript room, she sat across from me in a quiet pub near Gray's Inn. She stared into her untouched pint for a long time. "There's something I've never told anyone, not even my superiors. My mother's family came from Massachusetts, Innsmouth. They left in the 1920s, abruptly, without explanation. Changed their name from Marsh to Crow while still on the ship to England. I always assumed it was poverty, or shame over some scandal. But there are photographs, very old ones. My great-great-grandmother, her eyes are wrong, too far apart. The skin around them has an odd sheen, and there's webbing between her fingers in one picture, unmistakable. They told me it was a birth defect. I never believed it. My great-great-grandfather was Obed Marsh's second mate on the Sumatra Queen. He was there when the captain made the pact with the things in the deep. He helped bring back the gifts, the gold idols, the strange pearls, the knowledge that was never meant for human minds. He survived the voyage home, but he never spoke of it again. The family Bible has a single entry in his hand. The deep remembers, and it waits. I thought it was madness, until last month. I started dreaming of water, not ordinary water, black, bottomless, alive. Things move in it. They look at me with eyes that know my name. They call me Marsh, and in the dreams, I answer. The whisper in my skull laughed, soft, triumphant, like yellow silk tearing. She was always meant to come, Thomas. The blood remembers. The deep calls its own. And now the source will have both of you. I reached across the table and took her hand. Her fingers were cold, but they closed around mine without hesitation. "We stop them," I said, "together, before either of us is pulled under." She nodded once. Together. Outside, the London fog rolled thicker than ever. Somewhere beneath Salisbury Plain, Ubosathla stirred in its endless, formless dream. The stones remembered, the source waited. And in the salt marshes of memory, in Innsmouth, in the deep places beneath the waves, older blood answered the call. The play was older than any of us. The curtain had only begun to rise.